Good evening, everyone. I am Jeff, and this is the official Continuum Script. And I am Jeff, and this is my friend Ben. And
I like the title.
thank you. It's awesome.
Yes.
And we will just talk about the most random things for whatever reason. It's an audio blog, series, or whatever this is. But Continuum Script has now a title because I like Blazblue, and Continuum Shift was the game that got me into Blazblue, so I decided to do that, Continuum. And then Script came from Ben when he very intelligently said something about it being thrown out the script in our conversations, and we do, because this shit is not written down, and I try to do it by memory, but we just go from one thing to another, which is fun, more or less.
I also thought that it was based off the fact that the premise of, BlazBlue Continuum Shift is about the time anomaly in game called the Continuum Shift.
Yes.
Which is basically what happens when you finally break a time loop and then time splits into all the diverging paths and literally anything can happen. That's why I thought we were calling it Continuum Script.
That's a good way to say it. And also about that, as a tag on, the reason a continuum shift happens is because Noelle has awakened to being the eyes of the Azure, and her mindset and emotions are going crazy, which causes it. Which is why whenever a certain thing ends in a bad ending, this is what it says: everything is possible within the continuum shift as an ending, depending what ending you get for each character.
Yeah.
Which actually also goes into "Help me, Professor Kokonoe," and that's the most awesome thing you can ever watch and listen to.
Yes.
Kokonoe
Anything can happen in the Continuum Shift, including the loss of 90% of our budget.
Yes. Because they're very sheepified in this version or whatever.
Yeah.
And Kokonoe is giving you advice like saying, maybe you shouldn't have done this, you dumbass. Or whenever she interacted with Jin and Wagner and Jin's ending, and Jin was like saying, like, will you get the fuck away from me, lady? And then she says, you know what? I ain't dealing with this shit. Wagner, get your ass over here. And then he does, and he says, what am I supposed to do? And then Jin says, brother, you're here. I can barely contain myself, and something happens, which is rated X, and I don't know what the fuck happened between those two, because all that you hear is Jin saying, "Woo, the fuck."
Fight noises.
Yes, like I don't know. I don't want to know. I don't want to know what the fuck happened between those two.
Actually, part of me actually, I don't know. I keep saying actually over and over again. Part of me thinks that
that's the word of the day for you.
Actually, yes. Part of me thinks that the Help Me Professor Kokonoe was actually a pretty good idea, because I remember getting the bad end to Ragna's story in that game is actually something you wouldn't think about, except I Googled it, so I knew what to do.
Oh, but the whole you shouldn't rely on the power of the Azure because it's not yours or something.
Yeah, but like the way to avoid the bad end is to literally not use his special attacks too much.
Yeah. It's the same thing with Sabaki.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and her bad ending, I believe, if you overutilize the Izayoi, she goes blind in the bad ending. And dies.
I thought she went blind in the regular ending.
She does, but at least she's alive thanks to Izanami Hades.
Yeah.
Come, child, I will be your light. Or whatever she says. Kate Higgins.
I own you now.
Yes, she does. And then Tsubaki switches over to her black outfit. Like, shit, really? Okay.
This is what I use to murder people.
Yes. Everything is for the whatever it was, the dual decimal system.
No. I think that would be so much better than the Novus Orvis Librarium.
Oh God, yeah, there's a lot of acronyms.
I represent the Dewey Decimal System. I have come for your life.
Oh my god, the library, and then the whole foundation when it comes to captains, lieutenants, general, and all that shit. Ugh, I
And
so
then there's legacy things with houses.
yeah, and then there's like the good part of Kakatsuchi, and then there's like the ghetto area and the bottom level, which no one cares for.
And there's furry racism.
Very a lot of racism between beast stills and even and then there's the whole the hierarchy thing with the 12 noble families and commoners and the poor people, and then the Kata and the Taka clan, which is in like a sewer or by a
Yeah,
sewer.
the Kaka clan.
Yeah, the Kaka clan, and yeah.
And the only thing worse than the entire universe unwriting itself and um the end of all existence as we know it is nukes. Nukes are worse.
Kokonoe has a boatload of nukes.
Yeah, and I remember Hakumen is like, that's worse than anything Terumi could do. And I'm like, really, Hakumen? Really?
I mean, nuke at least with I mean, even though that the what is that poisonous miasma that goes through it or whatever.
Oh, right. The Seether.
The Seether is dangerous. At least there's some kind of life that you can at least live on and get poisoned. But nukes
Yeah.
kind of wipe out everything and even every
Yeah.
cell. And then it would cause a radiation leak, which would destroy the foundation of the world that cannot be redone.
Oh, no, I'm not talking about like nukes versus Ars Magus. Ars Magus is definitely better. I'm talking about how Blazblue is basically about like the end of the world, and that's the stakes we're playing at here.
Mm. Oh, that's what you mean. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. It's like nukes are bad. It's like if we don't kill him, the world will cease to exist. But no, compared to like Ars Magus, yes, Ars Magus is definitely better.
And yet there's also a kind of a darker foundation of why Ars Magnus was made, more or less.
Yeah.
Thank you thank you Nine the Phantom and Nine the Witch or whatever your name is, Kokonoe's mother and Silica's sister.
Yes.
You know she's a furry, right? She's into Jubei.
Yeah, but Ragna's into much older women.
I thought he was into Rachel.
Oh. I was making a joke that he was into Silica or whatever.
Oh, his mom.
Yeah.
I mean, when Silica appears in Chrono Phantasma, and it appears like and she always appears like somewhere in the opening theme song, and it's like and it also ends with her. You can't help but think, wow, they're really pushing Silica to be almost the main girl, and Noelle sucks.
Yes. Yes.
But it was interesting it was very surprising when you found out later that when I found out that you can actually play as Silica, because the director or the creator has said point blank, oh, you can never play as Silica, she can't fight. And lo and behold, later, oh, here I was patrolling you guys. She can play. She fights with her little version of Nirvana, and she uses healing magic or light magic very briefly and everything, and she looks very nice doing things.
Cool.
And she's got a lot, and so for whatever reason, she's got a bad sense of direction, but her luck is outstanding.
Yes.
No one can ever hurt Silica. She is a precious princess.
Yep.
But yeah, that's why this is called Continuum Script, and we went on a long, almost 8-minute rant on Blazblue.
I do have one more bit though.
Go for it.
You can't hurt Silica. Yeah, you can't hurt Silica. She's a nun. You can't hit a nun.
Yeah. And she, for whatever reason, she looks the same as when she was a little bit younger, except a little bit older, but she doesn't age much due to her magic.
Yes. How old are you? I'm 67. Stop cheating.
Exactly. Apparently, that's what was said in the timeline after all that shit happened and whatever happened in the past. Silica, and then eventually meets a younger version of Wagner and the kids, and she probably realizes, oh my god, I see Wagner as a kid, and I'm his mom now, and all that shit's kind of creepy, I guess.
I wonder how comfortable she was with that.
Later, because it's a time loop, like, I fell in love with your older version, but I see you as a kid, and I'm gonna raise you as my one of my own with your precious little clingy brother and your precious sick sister. Okay.
Does something bad happen to you guys? I can't remember.
Yeah, that's kind of like, yeah.
Ragda! Oh, you have both your arms. I wonder how you end up losing them.
Yeah, but she probably doesn't know the reason why. She just knows that she will eventually meet him, and she was right.
Yeah.
And the thing about Silica, another interesting thing is, due to the fact that she is a chronophantasma, a being from time that was pulled out of her time of a certain point, she doesn't know much of anything about her future, more or
Yeah.
less. And it's interesting that Kokonoe treats her with kind of not disdain, but like not with as much sensitivity as one should, because that is her aunt. So I'm not sure if Kokonoe. And the thing with Kokonoe, I think she was raised by Sector 7, and that her father was more hands off because he figured that she would be more safer that way. But she resents him and always gets angry with him. Whenever he's brought up, she's always in a bad mood if you bring up Jubei, and she just munches on that lollipop and says "fuck you, I'm out," or whatever. She's like Domo. If you get that reference.
Kyoji!
Exactly.
Kokonoe, do you have dad issues? I will kill you.
she probably would. She'd use you as an experiment just for kicks. And yet she oddly looks kind of hot, being a half beastkin. From it's the lab coat and just not caring about the fact that she wears like a loose shirt and shows off her navel and capri pants. I'm all for the fashion. I'm sorry, it's cool.
No, it's cool. I can't think of anything clever to say.
Like, she takes after her mom with the hair and the grouchy attitude, and she gets her feline features from her father. I'm not sure if she's resentful of that or whatever.
But where does the bad eyesight come from?
I do not know. Maybe it's just for aesthetic value. She is a cat. You're right. She is a cat, though. So if I were to admit I like Kokonoa, does that make me a furry?
No. Well, wait. I was gonna say if I admit that I like Kokonoe, is that bad? I'm like, no, I like her too. Is that make it a furry?
She has no fur though. She has long hair and nice and more human features than feline. Even though she has she has three tails.
I mean, my urge is to respond, "What's wrong with being a furry?"
There's nothing wrong with being a furry, but they get a lot of.
So actually, if it was like, part of me wants to say yes, just because it's like you can be whatever you want. But if I was going to be like as hard ass on the rest of the world as I am on myself, which is way too hard ass, I guess I would say no. Like, there's more to it than that. Like, it's an entire like something. Like, not in like a bad way, but in just like a. I wouldn't call myself a furry because even if I don't have strong feelings negatively towards it, I'm not really involved in that world.
Yeah, same. I mean, the top girl for me is Noelle because I have a thing with chicks with long hair, of course, and a blonde and green eyes, and that she is a wilting flower. But she gains confidence in Chrono Phantasma, which is nice to see.
I guess actually Freddie wants to specify now that I guess I'm not saying that. I like negatively saying I like anthropomorphic animal humans too much, so I am a furry, but is instead trying to, I guess, positively say I'm not working hard enough to be a furry. I don't have enough skin in that game.
Ah, cool. What else about Blazblue that's interesting that we talked about previously, and it was kind of all over the place because I forgot half the information and had to go to a wiki, which is fine because that shit is on point.
I don't know. It was mostly about one sec. It was mostly about the doll war and who Terumi was.
Yes, the doll war. And I'm sorry, folks. Yes, you see an image that I'm recording over of Once Upon a Time. We will get there. Don't worry.
Okay, so we don't have a script. We usually have a thing we're going to talk about.
Yes. And we will get there. But first, more Blazblue.
Yes.
Gotta fill up at least 20 minutes somehow or whatever.
All right. In that case, I would like to bring up like two or three things I thought of while we were talking because they're hitting my brain.
Right,
the first one was you talking about how they were trying to replace Noah with silica, and I was thinking of Super Butter Buns, which is a YouTuber I like, and they were talking about the Jack trilogy.
Yeah.
And how they basically there was a love interest in the first one, then there were two love interests in the second one, and then for no reason at all in the third one, they just randomly kind of booted the first love interest off and was like, "No, this is Best Girl now. You have no choice."
Oh wow. That's
So yeah, that was upsetting. Let's see, and what was the second thing? It was I bet I can't remember it in a good enough time. Something about Jerma, who's another YouTuber, said something funny. But I don't remember what it was.
Oh, okay.
And I don't think this has anything to do with anything, but for some reason I randomly flashed back to Blazin or something, which is like a silly Blazblue thing that Shadow Dragoon does. I think it's kind of like an abridged series of what little Blazblue anime there is.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just this like dumb rant that Hakumen does because in his universe, Hakumen and Arachne are buddy cops, and it's just kind of like he knows every dialogue, every local custom. He'll disappear. You'll never find him again.
Cool.
Those are the three random things that I thought of that I could not let go of.
Cool.
But yeah, that's all I can think of.
Oh, okay. What was I gonna talk about? Oh, right. Mentioned the little hints about the true thing about the true history of Blazblue. Well, the universe. Okay, so you know what? There was this universe, a world of Japan, right? And 21st century Japan wanted to. They really wanted to discover more things when they discovered one of the sacred treasures of the Blazblue universe called Amaterasu. It is a unit that gives you the ability to reverse the phenomenon intervention. It can do that. Phenomenon intervention means when a certain point happens, you can change it to have a different outcome, pretty much. So like, it actually gets
4
explained.
games and a lot of going back on itself.
Yes, and actually, it's actually explained in like some kind of story in Chrono Phantasma with Rachel or something. She explains the phenomenon intervention. Like there's an A and B chorus and everything, and A has to happen first, but then you can reverse it and then go to B to make sure something else happens. But due to coincidence or fate, something happens again, then they rewind it to go to C, more or less, when you do that right or whatever. And apparently, to get to Amaterasu in the boundary, and what is the boundary? It's a place full of Seether. It's like time and space all conjoined together in this point, and Amaterasu exists in there. And it's a powerful unit, a machine or whatever that you can become a god in. Why does it exist? Who knows? Shut up. It doesn't matter. So humanity builds the first doll, the first unit, who is actually Noelle. She is the first unit to be sent into the boundary and interface with it, and she goes there, finds it, and she hooks up with it. Literally, she enters the machine, and then she gains self awareness, and she realizes humanity is treating her kind, the dolls, badly. And she kind of says something like, "Can we all get along?" and everything. And humanity is like, "No, we cannot get along. They are just dolls created by humans, us. Why should we do anything otherwise?" and everything. And then there's a big war. that even though that the units that there are units of various of the Murokumo dolls, like yeah, I just remembered, uh, they are short in number, but they're very powerful because they got lasers and all that shit and like high mobility. Uh, there's a war. The humans are losing, and then interestingly enough, Rachel's father, uh, Clavis, I think his name is Alucard. Yeah, he suggests to humanity, and he's a fucking vampire, mind you. He suggests that you guys could unlock a certain an anti Sakishin unit called the Izayoi. They do, and even though it's able to defeat some of them, the humans are on the losing side. So as a last resort, they find a way to smelt the Black Beast by using one of the Murakuma units and everything and merging it to form the Black Beast. And I believe this is also a manipulation by tyranny.
Wait, how were they able to use one of the dolls if the dolls were at war with them?
I don't know. They captured him because that's the only way to. From what my knowledge, I believe that the only way to smelt the Black Beast, the core of the Black Beast, needs to be there, and then you have to get one of the Murokumo units to freaking go into it to form the Black Beast. If I remember correctly, because Wagner is the Black Beast, and he actually merged with Nu in the art at the timeline we know to form the Black Beast. So
It must be a pain in the ass to capture one of those things alive.
look, I mean, I'm just going by the knowledge of A and B. I'm not showing the specifics of how they're able to like smelt the Black Beast. I need to look that up again and bring it up again. But pretty much that's all you need to know. And that the Black Beast and the dolls wind up, and the Black Beast destroys everything in the world. The world is ended thanks to the Black Beast, and Seether is running rampant, and humanity dies. So the first unit in Amaterasu uses the knowledge and memory of what she had about humanity, uses the foundation of the embryo, uses the core of the Black Beast and the embryo to form a membrane or whatever, and to recreate the entire universe of Blazblue. And actual souls go or find a way to be reincarnated as themselves, where history repeats itself until 2199 or whatever. When
I have two notes.
hmm?
Is now a bad time for notes?
You can go for it, I don't mind.
First of all, I don't know, you talking about the boundary or something where it's like a single point where like time and space collide.
That's how I comprehend it. I mean I'm most likely wrong.
So it does sound interesting. It's kind of like the concept of infinity, but instead of using it as like a multiverse thing, it's like the infinity of, I guess, everything in that entire universe in one point. So it's like everything, which I guess kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
And I guess my second note was, I wonder if this story and all these mechanics and lore would make more or less sense if you knew Japanese mythology.
You would have to know. You would have to be keen on the terms like Amaterasu or Kagetsuchi, which is a place there, not a thing, and Susanoo, which is a Japanese god in Japanese myth and folk tales, I think.
Yeah, and or the Murakumos, something of
The
whatever.
Murakumo units, which are those robot girls, robot doll females who are mysteriously hot, they're like attractive, more or less.
But is Murakuma something in Japanese folklore?
Yes,
Ah,
just
so I have
like
no idea if that would make more
yeah,
or less sense.
yeah, just like Tsukiyomi, that shield that Rachel has. And along with Hakumen, who's clearly Japanese armor and all that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the timeline that we see is actually the foundation of a memory that is created by the remembrance memory of the first Momokuma unit. Everything we see in the game and time reversal is due to the doll unit in Amaterasu reversing time. And the thing is, she is a sleeping goddess trying to save humanity and more or less, but technically trying to save Wagner, who is the only one that could save her from her fate, I guess.
Alright.
The world is a central fiction. Well, no, I'm sorry. Wagner is a central fiction, I guess.
What's that mean? It's just a clever way of saying you're the protagonist.
Well, central fiction is a well, I forget why it's central, but you know, fiction means you are created by someone, right?
Oh.
And the thing is, even Wagner's fate, he is protected by the first Murakumo unit because, for whatever reason, she's waiting for him to save her. And every time he dies, she automatically reverses time to back to the point before everything happens and starts everything all over again.
So, so do you know how we were talking about how this entire world is a recreation of the real world? Yeah. And everyone in it is a reincarnated soul from the real world? Yeah. Okay, so what we meant by that was everybody but you. What? Yeah, you don't really exist. I don't exist. What am I? Well, see, we had this whole war and everything's really shitty. And I was like, man, if I could go back and do things differently. So basically, you're my like hunky, badass, emo, self insert character who makes everything right. I don't know if I like being that. I actually find it hilarious that, you know, Rachel Alucard decided that you were her favorite character in my slash fic. She is like your biggest fangirl. It's the cutest thing you see. And scene.
Okay. The thing is, but only key characters know that the world is an artificial thing due to what happened in the original timeline. The only characters that know
Actually,
this,
wait, can I ask a question?
yes,
Does Rachel know that Ragna isn't a real person?
she knows,
But she still loves him anyways.
more or less. Yes.
That is tragic and amazing. I love this. I need to play Central Fiction.
Yes, you do. We'll share play it and play it.
All right.
Rachel knows. Nine knows. Carl's father, the dude with the other doll unit, he knows. Clavis, I think his name is. Carl's father. He knows. Of course,
No,
Izanami. Hmm?
Relius.
Thank you, Relius Clover. He knows. Clavis knows, and I would think that no, those are the only characters that know the true history of the world, and maybe
But not,
Jubei, but I'm not sure.
but not Kokonoe?
Kokonoe probably has a hint, but she's too much in science to really be diving into that. She knows about the phenomenon intervention theory, which she has mentioned, and certain other things because most likely due to her mom and father being connected or whatever. But she probably knows just a
All
little
right.
bit. I can only think because she is like the what is it? She is the what is it? She is the observer of Hakumen, so she probably would know.
Oh, has she always been the observer of Hakumen?
It is stated in Continuum Shift.
But she's been the observer the whole time?
She is his observer and apparently Awakune's.
No wonder she's grouchy all the time. She must be tired.
Well, apparently it does cause a lot of pain being an observer because Rachel is also life linked to Wagner. So, but I think she's his observer or something. Oh, was it reverse? Or was it Terami and Wagner? No, because Noel acknowledged Terami, and that's how he's able to get his full function powers for whatever reason, which is stupid. No, not stupid. It's actually quite interesting. But there's a lot. See, the thing with Blazblue is there's a lot of backlore that you have to look up for yourself to really finally
Yeah.
get everything to like settle in your head.
Yes.
and I realized that due to now learning about the true what Amaterasu is, I have to make a retcon in my fanfic story called Senshi Continuum about why Queen Beryl is connected to Amaterasu when when it's really a good character and not a bad character, as I once thought.
Retcons gotta fix my fanfic.
Yes, sadly, and I think I can make it work, and because I now know about Izanami Hades and all that shit, and isn't Izanami Hades kind of like something that's kind of the same meaning, like Izanami in Japanese lore is like the god is like the wife of Izanagi or whatever, and she's from hell, and yet she also goes by the English word Hades, Izanami Hades. It's the same thing but different context, somewhat, right?
What are you asking?
Izanami Hades, the character,
Uh-huh.
she goes by Izanami Hades. Hades is the god of the underworld.
Yes.
Izanami means the same thing as in to say goodbye or to say hello or something, whatever it means in Japanese. Izanami was the wife of Izanagi, who she died and she went to the underworld in Japanese mythology.
So wait, what's the
Izanami,
question?
huh?
What's the question?
That Izanami Hades has a hyphen in between or whatever. It's the
Because they're
same
comparing her
thing.
to Hades?
Hmm?
Because they're comparing her to Hades?
More, I guess, but it seems kind of like redundant because it's like the same meaning, right? Izanami and Hades slash. I mean, you beat. Oh no, wait, you never beat. Damn it, you never played Persona 4. Damn it.
Yeah, no, I have no idea what you're talking about right now.
Ah. Yeah, I will.
Are we trying to compare Japanese mythology with Greek mythology, or are we talking about Persona and Blazblue?
The first part.
Okay. So wait, is Izanami the wife of the Lord of the Dead, or is she the Lord of the Dead?
That's the thing. I can't remember, but Izanami wound up going to hell, and Izanagi tried to go help her, but she apparently became like the goddess of hell or something.
Okay.
But
What does Izanagi do after that?
he had to leave her, and apparently in the mythos, and I'm only going by Persona 4 logic here, uh, that for as many people she kills out of spite, he will save and or whatever. Izanagi Izanami.
Actually, in Greek mythology, Hades is pretty chill.
Yeah, but the thing is, her name is Izanami Hades, and they actually use an English word connected to Izanami.
Oh, so you
I
say
wonder if
that?
I wonder if that's on purpose.
Oh, maybe.
I would have just called her stuck with Izanami and just left Hades alone, but I don't know.
So you're wondering if that's redundant?
Yeah, well, the name, yeah, like people call it Izanami, and I don't think many people call her Hades though.
Yeah, it's a little redundant.
But maybe Blazblue wanted to go hardcore with her name.
Yeah, Hades, edgy.
I mean, I've seen her astral finish. It's very creepy.
Yeah.
I mean, she you know what? I will have to show you that video of what happens when she finishes off your character. It's very creepy.
Okay.
Hmm. But anyway, only certain characters know the true version of history, and Nine finds out this information, apparently goes crazy, and then she decides to make an 11th Ars Magus weapon to take over the foundation of God or whatever. That's the plot of Central Fiction. There are too many cooks in the kitchen. That's one of the easy way to explain Central Fiction. There's all these antagonists and one real main bad guy, Jeremy, and everyone's trying to do their own thing. Nine's trying to overthrow Izanami. Izanami has her own goal to relish in the death of everyone. She wants the ultimate end. She wants things to stop, and Jeremy is just in it for the lull.
Okay.
And the fact that he doesn't and the fact that he has to go back into his body just to make a dent in the story or whatever, and he's like, "Fuck! I guess I have to boot out this fake Jin Kusanagi from the past from my old armor so I can inhabit it, but I don't like doing it because I turn into a bloodthirsty monster more than I already am."
I
And
really like eating eggs. I don't have a
yes,
digestive system when I'm a suit of armor.
exactly. Whenever Yuki Terumi goes back into his original body or whatever, he turns into this heavy metal, I hate everything, things will die and everything. Like Um, he's like breaking things and destroying things. It's pretty cool. It's pretty metal for me that he does all that shit, and that he hates his sister Amaterasu because she creates things and he destroys out of is because it's his very being, and the reason he wanted to get out of his armor in the first place is because he could care less. And there's a little bit more backstory to it, but I will relinquish such talk and everything. But that's pretty much Blaze Blue, more or less. That's more or
I
less.
did think of like three things though.
Go for it.
Um, I guess one is then basically about everything you've said so far. I assume that the plot of the next game I haven't played yet is something along the lines of basically everybody figures out that like the universe was somebody already tried to take control of the universe by rewriting it and making themselves God or something, and that didn't work very well.
It kind of
Everything is very
works. It kind of works until Wagner dies and everything is forced back to zero.
everything's really janky, so they want to like
Yes.
fix it
Yeah.
and make it work.
Yes.
And which is actually kind of interesting because it's like it's hard to argue with that.
Yeah.
And the second thing is me just like it's like, oh wait, fucking everything is a lie and everyone died. I wonder if that's why Relius has such an easy time doing experiments on all of his family members. Dad, why do you keep killing everyone? None of this is real, son. What? Everyone already died.
Yeah, pretty much. And what was your third thing?
I was just actually it was just I guess I don't have any more. Mostly just making jokes about how it's like Terumi decided to separate himself from his suit so he could plan a way to destroy the world. And I don't know why he doesn't want to go back in his suit anymore.
Yeah, he detests it.
I did all that work. I don't want to go back. Wait,
Exactly.
why?
But he has no choice because the good guys are gaining and everything, and he has to stop it. So I'm here,
Oh,
though.
I guess it's not that I don't want to go back. It's just like I wanted to drag this out a little longer.
Yeah, and especially when it comes to the fact that he's got separated from his artificial body of Hazama, and now he's in his almost hardcore edgelord coat phase, which is awesome because he also is also cool. And then there's like three versions of Yuki Terumi.
Wait, so they removed him from the Hazama body?
You find that out in Chrono Phantasma.
Oh, that explains it. So he becomes Ansem from Kingdom Hearts 1.
Yes. See, there you're getting it.
He's just a coat walking around. It's like, I wanted to eat more eggs, but you took my body, so now I'm going to destroy the universe.
More or less, yes. So there are three versions of Hazama or Yuki. The original Susanoo O, who is the armor, when he fuses his original soul into that armor, and he has to take out Jin Kisuagi's soul in there. The Yuki Terumi that was cut off from Hazama, which is kind of his real personality, and then there's the Hazama where he's much more calmer and analytical.
So wait, who was the first Yuki Terumi?
Hazama.
I thought Hazama was the guy who. I thought Hazama was the homunculus.
He is. He is the body. Yes, he is that. But he was the artificial body. Yes.
So wait, then who was Terumi from the time that he was in the Seven Heroes?
I guess it was that Terumi we saw. I guess the coat. I guess.
Okay, so basically, Susanoo got bored one day, so he split himself into Susanoo armor and Yuki Terumi. Yuki Terumi went to Earth and decided to fight the Black Beast because it seemed like a good idea at the time. Oh no, wait, he actually wasn't fighting the Black Beast. He was fighting the Doll Wars, and then he got people to make the Black Beast, and then the Black Beast destroyed the world. He's like, ha! This is exactly what I wanted to happen. And then time went back, and he's like, this is not what I wanted to happen. So, then a bunch of other shit happened that, long story short, made... Actually, I couldn't think of it. Actually, I don't actually know what happens next. If he just made a body in the first place, why did he have to take over the Hazama body?
It binds because he had like impulse control. So Nine and Trinity Glassfield created an artificial body for him to utilize to keep him bound and use a curse on him so he doesn't go crazy.
Oh wait, is that the body he was using during the Seven Heroes era?
Most likely.
Then how does the body survive into like the rest of the games?
I guess it gained some kind of sentience and wanted to remain as is. like a spark of life, I guess.
I'm glad I'm finally free of Yuki Terumi. Now I can go and create my own life. I will be Hazama 9 years later. Hey, bud, I'm back. I need a place to stay. It's going to be in your body.
Yeah, you learn more about that connection after time is cut from him, which I'll get into later. But I think after 41 minutes of discussing the origins of Continuum Script due to Blazblue Love, which we'll talk about again later or in a later date, I feel like
Time to end the episode. We're not talking about Once Upon a Time at all.
that would be the most ironic twist. Like, they didn't even talk about Once Upon a Time, and he's like recording up an image of these Caucasian people
Yep.
or whatever. I will dedicate the last 25 minutes to Once Upon a Time, though.
All right.
But Ben, is there any more comments, questions of Blazblue you want to discuss?
No, I can't think of anything.
Okay. Once Upon a Time now. I would expect like applause, but I don't have applause or whatever.
Gotta buy those sound bites, and we don't have the money.
Exactly. Once Upon a Time was a show that came on ABC, like 2009, 10, 8, no, 2010 or 11, after the writer's strike. The show is about what if fairy tale characters from books were in the real world. Like somewhere in New England.
Technically, the story is, what if every fairy tale took place in roughly the same area?
Yes.
And then they were forced to all move to Maine.
Yes. And live a life as mundane people without knowing that they are actual heroes in fictional tales for people.
Should we start saying spoilers now? Because I want to say spoiler.
Spoilers for Once Upon a Time.
But actually, for as far as a spoiler, because if you haven't watched it yet, don't listen, because this is possibly the best joke in the series. But it basically, in the first episode, I love the joke where it's like, where are we gonna go? And this evil witch is just like, somewhere horrible. And then it just cuts, and it's like, Maine. And I'm like, man, my dad would hate this show. He really likes Maine.
Really?
Yes, he really loves Maine.
Wow.
Where are we going? Someplace horrible. Welcome to Maine. Would you like some lobster? Look at the lighthouses.
And it's a little bit gloomy over there for some odd reason, and everyone's wearing beige or dark colors. Yeah. The main characters in Once Upon a Time, and I'll start with the fairy tale characters, are Snow White, Prince Charming as his name by Snow White. We also got the evil queen Regina, and Rumpelstiltskin, who is the Dark Lord, a being who is needed in this universe because evil needs to go somewhere. Even though I'm not sure if it really means he's the personification of all the evil in the world. It's just a fucking dagger he's bound to and all that shit. But with reasons,
He is the personification of plot convenience.
he is. Just because he said he's the Dark One, trust me, he does not inhabit all the evil that humans go for. It's kind of just a thing. As man said, it's for fucking plot convenience, and it is. And there is a freaking long story about why the things happen. As you know, we the readers of these books know like the endings to the stories. But what lies beyond Once Upon a Time? And what occurs after Happily Ever After? There is a backstory which they explore in each episode as the main story in Maine with the other characters versus backstory like that's set in the past. And we learn every little detail how it all got to this point. And it's beautifully crafted, more or less, if not somewhat annoying because certain storylines never got a ribbon wrapped around it, depending.
To be honest, some of my actually my biggest critique of the show, which is another thing that happens because of plot convenience, but I just hate it.
Go for it.
It's every time they make some kind of interesting world mechanic, like the ability to teleport between dimensions, they burn it. And I'm just like, don't burn it. That's interesting. You can use that for future plot lines. More importantly, you just got that MacGuffin. You're probably going to need to go between dimensions again, which means you're going to have to make something up, which they do.
Yes, each and every time. Yes.
And I'm just like, the giant beam thing was interesting, and I liked that dude, and you just killed him off screen.
Yes.
It's like, oh man, somebody set the field on fire. That giant guy must be dead. I'm like, why are giants like really burnable? Would he not try to run?
Who knows? The main characters. Okay, I should really begin with this. The main characters in this story is Emma Swan. One day, she is like a. Oh God, you know what? I am not really good with synopses. Now that I think about it, I'm good at typing it out, but not saying it.
You want me to do it?
Please, it's all yours.
Okay. Emma Swan is a kid who pretty much gets kicked around from foster home to foster home, and her life is terrible. And then she gets a boyfriend who is basically a shoplifter or something, and they go around doing crime, and they love each other, kind of, and they don't get married, and she gets pregnant, and he disappears. So she has the kid and puts it up for adoption because she's like a homeless 23-year-old who makes her living off shoplifting.
I can't be a mother. Take him.
You can be a mother. I don't have a house. Ooh, that's not good.
And I have my own issues being abandoned by my own parents in the woods, and Pinocchio and some wooden boy who's a human now had me apparently held me as a baby, and we were in the same foster home before he abandoned me for some odd reason because he wanted friends.
Also, if we could say, all this information comes out over the course of like 6 seasons, very slowly.
Yes.
So all you really know from the beginning is kicked around from foster home to foster home.
Yes.
But after a while, she somehow learns she has the uncanny ability to know when someone's lying. She doesn't know why, it's because magic. So she decides to get a job as a PI and does good enough to actually make a living for herself.
Mm-hmm.
So she's just like being a PI in New York, and that's when the story starts. So should we tell what happens next, or should we introduce the rest of the characters?
We can introduce the characters. And just so you know, Emma is a beautiful woman, blonde, and she takes after her mom, even though she's a blonde, and her mom has dark hair.
Her dad's a dirty blonde, too. Lots of recessive genes. Unless she dyes it. Maybe she dyes it. I don't know.
Who knows? I think she really is a blonde through and through. By the flashback, she has always had blonde hair.
All right.
So she really is a blonde. to the fore. And apparently she's tough. New York tough. Except she doesn't have an accent. I guess. Or whatever.
I try and do them, but I don't know what a New York accent sounds like.
Yo, what are you doing here? I have a sucky accent.
Also, I'm pretty sure the accent that I'm thinking of is from, like, where's Boston?
Boston! Somewhere in New England. It's like it's like Boston, Massachusetts.
Okay, I'm guessing that's nowhere near New York.
No, it's like New England territory.
Okay, yeah, that's what I think of when I think of a New York accent. I think of Boston, which is not correct.
Yo, what are you doing? It's only water. What? It's only water.
Clam chowder. I feel like I'm being, like, I don't know, not good. I feel like I'm doing bad things right now.
Harder. Oh my god. This is so good. I could eat like some kind of whatever that junk was, a Ted or whatever.
Is that a reference?
It was a reference to that movie, the teddy bear movie, Ted.
I've never seen that.
Wow, it was a wild movie.
It was a wild ride.
I mean, do I regret watching it? I was in my mid-20s. That's a thing.
I don't try to judge myself harshly. Stop judging me.
But yeah, then one day on her birthday, she wishes to have someone in her life because she is relatively lonely due to the life she lived. And then she sees a little boy pop up on her doorstep, and he says, "Hi, I'm Henry, and I'm your son that you gave up." What?
And she slams the door really hard and buys a dog.
Yeah, no, I got rid of him. But then he explains that, yeah, you see, in this storybook I have in my hands, which is a MacGuffin for the first season and half of the other seasons as well, it reveals the history of all the fairy tale characters in Storybook, a sleepy town in New England somewhere. And they're all living a miserable life because they're not their self. They're not their fairy tale. Everything is happy. We have hope and love. We're miserable and greedy, like us regular folk in the real world. It's like trying to say we suck because we have no magic or light in our life.
Yeah, that is actually kind of shitty.
Yeah, like, hey, we're not all like that. We try to maintain having hope in our life. Maybe.
Oh yeah, but also something I wanted to say about the whole Henry angle is basically it's like everyone in my town is a character from fairy tales, and so are you. She's like, I'm going to call the police, and she's like, okay, if they do that, they're gonna take me home, and then I'm gonna sneak out and find you again, and we're gonna do this all over again. And she's like, fine, I will come to your town, and I will investigate it and prove to you that you are being crazy.
And that is the first season, trying to convince Emma that magic is real, that she is the daughter of Prince Charming and Snow White, one of the crucial characters.
Can I also say a huge spoiler?
Spoiler alert! Go for it.
Like, this is a twist, and I'm about to ruin a twist.
Go for it. Also,
she somehow manages to never once touch the book for the entire first season.
Yeah, that was a thing.
Don't know how she did that, but darn if it isn't convenient.
But maybe she did, but she didn't. But she had to believe. That's a crucial element in this series. Belief.
Yeah.
To believe in something more higher than you. Believe in fate. Believe in magic, which becomes a focal point in season 2, 3, 4, and 5, which is interesting.
Also, makes no sense.
It doesn't, especially the mechanics and certain plot holes with magic itself.
There's a karma mechanic to magic that makes no sense.
How you have to give something in exchange and it never really happens.
Yeah, I personally think that it's totally stupid.
They should have just said it from the get-go. Magic can do anything you want, but there are some backlashes, depending. Which they try to do, but they don't really hold on.
Depending makes sense. Like, some of these magics come at a price. I'm like, oh, okay. But when they're like, all magic comes at a price, it's like, what is the price of force push? Does that mean like some old lady gets knocked over somewhere else?
Yeah.
Like I just cast light so I could read in my like bed. Does that mean that I'm slowly killing all the fireflies outside? This doesn't make any sense. If it's this horrible, why would I ever use it?
Yeah. And then okay, there was first there are key words in this entire series, which is interesting but doesn't matter in the end. Magic always comes with a price. That's what Rumpelstiltskin says, the Dark Lord, who is a pawnbroker who runs the town of Storybrooke in the Shadows. When we think that Regina, the mayor of this place, the mother of Henry, adopted mother of Henry, and friend and girlfriend to Emma, which people want. um, she is the evil queen, but she has a lot of backstory and a lot of drama to make her become evil. And through the course of the show, she grows from being this manipulative, evil person trying to destroy Emma and anyone else in her way, like Snow White, because she broke a promise as a kid. She married her father. There's a thing, and there's like a lot of family drama, which is also annoying because there's backstory of why there's the family drama, which never gets really reiterated. And then there's Prince Charming being the twin brother to this prince, etc., etc. It doesn't matter because reasons, but it kind of matters in season 2.
Also, can I drop a major spoiler?
So go for it.
Cool. Major spoiler. Everyone is related.
Somehow, some way, yes. It's a weird interconnected web.
It's like, is it even safe to date anyone? We're all related.
It's more related through marriage
I guess.
than blood. Like Emma, oh, you're right, because oh fuck, it makes sense because Balefire, who is who is the son of Rumpelstiltskin, who hooked up with Emma to have Henry. Oh
And like,
fuck! Oh fuck!
isn't like, is Regina like Rumple's kid, or did I imagine that?
Regina and Rumple are potential. They could have been lovers because
Gross.
Rumpelstiltskin had a thing for Regina's mother when they were younger or whatever.
Yeah,
Rumpelstiltskin taught Regina's mother magic. They could have had a fucking thing, but she broke that shit off saying, I want more than you, Dark Lord, so get the fuck out.
oh, I thought it was like Regina is Rumple's kid.
No, God, no. No, that would be weird.
Yeah, that would be weird, because then Lee just said that it was into her, so that means that he'd be like fucking her daughter, they're married, and they would also be like fucking, she'd be Henry's mother and grandmother.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, this is what happens when you start saying that everybody's related in this story. It starts getting really creepy really fast.
It's more related by marriage and everything, and that's it. Because think about it, Belle is actually Henry's grandmother-in-law, even though she's freaking young.
Yeah.
When they get married.
So wait, does that mean that Regina adopted into the family?
They more or less, yes. Because she did raise Henry, so we are all family, as Snow White says, and it's kind of weird, but whatever.
Yeah. I have 2 moms, no dad.
And that's why more or less some fans want to ship Emma and Regina, who do have a rivalry, a hard rivalry in the beginning season, but over the course of the seasons, that's my word of the night, seasons, they do become friends. And Regina apparently teaches Emma how to utilize her magic in particular ways, because when the fuck did someone want to learn Elvish in a fairy tale world? I know, I get that they have elves and everything, but why would you want to learn Elvish for magic?
Aragon.
Thank you. And the thing about it is, you know what? This is just okay. Once Upon a Time is one of my favorite shows. I loved it, but at the same time, the way it ended sucked. They needed to end the show in season 6, not season 7, which was a freaking small, harsh reboot. It didn't need to happen, sadly, because they stepped away from Storybrooke and went into a new direction, which is fine, but it just didn't work because it felt like it was too tacked on with certain social political atmospheres. I
I would
love
like
to.
to.
I mean, I love diversity, but it just felt kind of too like I wasn't really feeling it for some odd reason. Not that
I
don't
would
get.
like.
Oh, go on.
Sorry. Do you want to finish what you're saying?
Yeah, I'll finish it. I mean, it's not like I have a person. I mean, I love diversity. I think diversity needs to be a good thing and everything, but, uh, like, I don't know. I just wasn't feeling like the new Henry falling in love with a different version of Cinderella because I could have sworn he was going to hook up with that girlfriend of his from high school for whatever reason, but they went in a different direction. And the fact that it was just like I mean, it's just rehashing Cinderella as a different thing, which was interesting, but it didn't really pan out, I guess. Along with the fact they never really pulled the trigger when it came to Regina falling for the what's his name, the voodoo practitioner. Even though I was very curious about that shit. They never really went forward with it, sadly. So for me, seasons 1 through 6, season 6 really ends Once Upon a Time for me. Go for it, Ben.
Oh man, now I know the thing with Robin Hood isn't going to work out. It was doomed from the start.
Robin Hood was good for Regina.
Yeah, but now I know it doesn't work out.
Sadly, but think of it like this: they do have an extraordinary love story.
Yeah, good point. Wait, what was I gonna say? Crap, what was I gonna say? Died.
Zelina.
No.
Oh,
Oh, oh, right. You were talking about how
magic always comes with a price.
no, you were talking about how the last season was a bridge too far because it went to a different locale and a bunch of other stuff. I
Yes.
was going to bring up how they kept um destroying random things in the lore like magic beans and stuff. And I'm like, I wonder if they stopped burning all of those bridges, if it might have had a chance.
Who knows? Oh, I was
But
going
actually,
to.
the more you talked about it, the more it sounded less like that it was a something that didn't mesh well with the mechanics of the established concept, and it was more like adding a bunch of new stuff to the show, but they didn't think it through. So it's like, look at this interesting thing that we did. It's like, cool. Does this
Yes.
character have any backstory or motives or character?
They
And they're
do,
like,
but I
look at
didn't
this
really care
interesting
for it.
thing we did.
Yeah, it did, but I didn't care for it. It was like, you know what? I think it was also like I was just done with this show. I mean,
Yeah, like
that was
eight
pretty much
seasons
the
is a
gist of
long
it.
time.
Yeah, 6 years, 7 years is a long time. So they should have just made it. They really should have just found it a perfect. The perfect ending was season 6, but even the ending with the introducing Henry has a daughter. Like, oh, fuck, really?
I'm gonna give her a symbolic name. Stop setting her up to be an adventurer. Just call her, I don't know. I was gonna say Greg, but I can't think of like a girl version of the word Greg.
Yeah, I mean,
Name
season
her Greg.
yeah, and the little girl was interesting. I'll say that much because she. But then again, it was like a rehash of season 1 a little bit. So it's like, fuck, what's the point?
Time is a loop and it repeats itself. Really? I don't know. Makes it easier to write.
Yeah, and Henry becomes a cynical man as an adult. Sadly, he's also under a curse, and it's like if he falls for if him and his destined love Cinderella are to kiss or something, he would die. It's very stupid. I
I
mean,
mean,
yeah.
we don't have to kiss.
Yeah, but I think it had something to do with a heart thing. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But I will say this: I did watch the final episode of the series, and it was good.
Sweet.
I could find solace in that at least. That everything got a happy ending, more or less.
Yay.
Uh, but now, ironically enough, Emma is a young grandmother.
Hmm.
She's a young grandmother to this little girl, Holly, or whatever her name is. And she also has a little girl named Hope, who's a baby with Hook.
Cool.
They find their love story. Yes, Hook and Emma become like a main power couple in that series.
Sweet.
Next to Snow and Charming, which they have a little baby boy during the course of the show.
Oh, that kid you had, so you could abandon me further. That's I don't know.
That was a actually that was a plot in that series in that show. And the thing is, I really despised certain character traits in season 4, especially when it came to Elsa and Emma's connection, which I loved. When it came to Emma Emma coming into her powers, and some people and her mom think she's crazy for hurting her father because the Snow Queen wanted to make Emma like doubt her using her abilities.
Yeah.
And Snow did say like, "Oh, David, I don't think we can trust Emma with our little baby boy, but that's his sister. No, we can't trust him. We can't trust him. We can't trust him." And then she screams at Emma for hurting her father by accident. And then she runs off. And then she says, "David, we did a bad thing. We? You are the one to you were the one to do everything that's happened to Emma, Snow. This is all you, not me." I remember I showed you a meme about that. It was
Actually, yeah, that did make me start watching the series again to go and try and see that.
season 4. I think the
So
best season.
after Frozen?
Hmm? It's
So
doing Frozen.
oh, I watched all of Frozen. Oh.
You must have missed it.
Ah.
You know what? I'm not even sure I'm giving a proper synopsis or explanation of why I like Once Upon a Time. It's fairy tale characters in the real world interacting with everything and learning the fact that our science has surpassed their magic, and it's wonderful to see.
So you're gonna go move back to the Enchanted Kingdom? Yeah, I was gonna do that, but then I realized there's no Netflix in the Enchanted.
There's no Netflix, there's no ovens, and I can fix everything I want here, so it's a nice place. And along with the fact that, living in a forest versus living in a nice little apartment that's rent controlled, I can deal with it.
I mean, there are no monsters, and if there are, they've been turned into like dogs or deer or really obnoxious people.
Yes. And the fact that, key phrases as I was going to explain. Magic always comes with a price. Karmic destiny, karmic stuff, it doesn't really make sense. It's a plot hole, as you went into. A next word phrase is evil isn't born, it's made, which stands true over the course of that series as well. Dealing with the Regina was never born evil. She grew to be evil due to the circumstances behind everything that occurred. And magic is power. In this show, yes, it is. Yet, at times, it always pales into comparison to true love's kiss, which is another thing which in the show, which becomes a factor. If you kiss your true love or someone you love very much, it doesn't have to be romantic. It can be familiar or parent-child love. There is a kiss, and there's a whoosh, and there's a rainbow. You heard me right. There's always a rainbow effect when it comes to kissing your true love to break a curse. True love's kiss always works, I guess.
What about all of those spells that involve murdering your true love?
That's only revolves around the dark curse to transport people to this dimension, which is horrible, apparently.
Peter Pan did it too.
He took the person who most trusted him, or his most beloved in a way, the person who trusted him most, or he trusted most in his heart. That's the only way I can ever explain it. It doesn't have to be love; it can also be gratitude or trust or whatever too.
I'm realizing how much more of a sting that is because it's like I sacrificed the heart of someone who I love the most. Like, I'm your son. I'm like, yeah, it sucks it weren't you, huh?
Yeah. Um, the plot holes with Once Upon a Time is questionable because certain plot lines never got like told, like Snow White has darkness in her heart. Kingdom Hearts, baby. um, that never got settled. The fact why
I
Snow,
always wish there was a Kingdom Hearts crossover. It would make sense.
it really would Emma joining forces with Sora, Donald, and Goofy be awesome.
No, I just mean. Oh, I don't actually use you. You lagged out. I don't know what you said.
What do
I
you mean?
just mean that just how off the wall both series are. Them crossing over wouldn't raise any eyebrows.
Yeah, exactly. The lore is very similar.
Yep.
Except that Once Upon a Time does go a little bit deeper when it comes to romance, and Sora doesn't know a thing about it. He's dumb with it. All he knows
Yeah.
about all the romance he knows about is liking this pretty girl.
I like this one girl. Yeah, lots of people who like you. You don't notice.
A lot of people love Sora, but he don't notice. He's a boy. He's a shonen boy character. Hey everyone, I'm Sora. I'm the main character of Kingdom Hearts. Let's go beat up some Heartless.
My
My
friends
heart
are
is
my
my
power.
power. I mean, I don't have any other jokes to you.
I say that so many times.
My heart is my power.
Oh, I thought it was my friends are my power.
Oh, I got to smell his heart too. Okay. No, you're right. My friends are my power too. Yeah. And Sora, 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 Kyrie, Miku,
Donald.
Goofy.
Sora, the man who wasn't able to catch anyone ever.
Donald, Kyrie.
There's even that like thing, Kingdom Hearts 2, where Mulan falls down a pillar and he like tries to grab her and misses, and it served no purpose except to like just remind people that Sora can't hold on to anything.
He can. Jesus.
You know, you'd lose that Keyblade if it didn't magically reappear in your hands every time you dropped it.
You know they retconned that damn Keyblade far too much for convenience.
Yep.
Just like how Once Upon a Time did its magic and the customs of how you can move distances with white smoke.
Yeah. Except for in like Kingdom Hearts, like other than the big retcon, like they don't even care about 90% of the Keyblading retcon, so it's just kind of like Keyblades can break now. Except they don't.
You can chip your fucking Keyblade out as your destined partner, and yeah, that's kind of just along with oh god, what else about Kingdom Hearts that and Once Upon a Time that was similar? Friendship and love always redeems the bad guy character, even if they did the most horrible things.
Yes. And in both, Chernabog is a boss fight.
Yes.
Actually, I haven't seen him yet.
Who?
Chernabog.
He only appears in the first one. Oh no, wasn't he in Once Upon a Time too?
Yeah, I think he shows up in Once Upon a Time. That was my joke.
Oh, you're right. He somehow is able to migrate from Kingdom Hearts into Once Upon a Time, so that's technically canon.
Well, technically, he's originally from Fantasia.
You're right. I've never.
So I thought he was going to show up because of the what?
I've never watched Fantasia, but I'm aware of that thing because it's very dynamic and it's a very strong presence.
Yeah, but you know, remember the wizard's hat from the Frozen arc?
Yes,
that's the hat from Fantasia.
You're right, Mickey Mouse's hat.
So I'm like, I made a joke. It's like, oh, cool, Chernabog's going to be in Once Upon a Time. And I don't remember what I did, but I Googled and I'm like, oh shit, Chernabog's really going to be in Once Upon a Time.
For for one boss battle, that's all.
Yeah, but then like I finished the Frozen arc and he didn't show up, and I'm like, okay, guess this is going to take a while.
No, he does appear, but it's after the Frozen arc.
All right.
And it's always interesting seeing Emma and Vegeta use their magic with energy beams.
Yes. Kame.
And it's another interesting thing. Like, I didn't like the last part of season 5 when it came to trying to turn Emma dark.
Hmm?
Oh, it involved like Cruella de Vil. Oh fuck! Don't get me started on Maleficent and that damn dragon egg baby, which was annoying. Emma's darkness, as it were.
I have not watched that part yet. I just saw like Cruella de Vil, the Dragon Lady, and like Ursula, and I'm just kind of like, we just got done with Frozen. You're just gonna crank up the weird even further than Frozen? I need a break.
Yes, it does get weird, very weird. Oh God, and no, you know what? I hated that part. I love seeing Cruella de Vil and Ursula and Maleficent, but I hated the outcome of what happens afterwards, especially when it comes with my girl Emma. I actually wrote a blog post, which is like 4 or 5 years old, about the ramifications about Emma and that storyline. And I think it's one of my best work. I'll link it to actually only my Discord to show you then.
All right. Also, I have a joke about the thing you just said, but I don't think it's flattering to you, so I feel like I should keep it to myself.
No, go for it. I don't mind.
All right. Are you aware of that like TikTok / Vine / meme thing? And I think it's about somebody talking about Sonic the Hedgehog.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when will you learn?
This is a song from Sonic?
No, I didn't want to say it because it's basically someone screaming at the top of their lungs, but they're screaming at the top of the lungs like, when will you learn? When will you learn that your actions have consequences?
That's cool.
I just didn't want to try and like yell it because it's like it's just really loud.
That's actually sounds like something Magina would say to Snow.
Yeah. But like that was a joke of what you were saying in your article.
Oh, that's cool. Cool.
When will you learn that your actions have consequences?
Yes.
What the entire point of the sound bit is that it sounds kind of like silly and over the top and nerdy, so I didn't know if that would be like a slight against you if I said that.
No, it's never a slight. It's cool.
All right. Cool.
But I think after an hour and 60 minutes, I think I should end this. Even though we didn't really talk much about Once Upon a Time, but technically we did. In random fashion, mind you.
Yes.
After a long haul of Blazblue. So how should I do like the title sequence of this? Should I have Blazblue on it first, and then it's going to be
Once Upon a Time, but first Blazblue. Lots and lots of Blazblue.
Should that be the title?
If you think it's good.
I don't mind. I can do that.
All right.
But okay, everything you need to know about Once Upon a Time. It's a good show. For the first couple seasons, it's good. I stand by season 6 should have been its last season. Season 7, it's a small reboot. It didn't work for me. But the ending of it all was good. If not, they could have just cut it. But it was good.
I have my own opinion about Once Upon a Time, but I don't know if it matches yours. And
You want to say it quickly?
All right. As for me about Once Upon a Time, I guess I don't like it as much as Jay, but in my opinion, at least for the first few seasons, the best part of Once Upon a Time are just all the side stories of the side characters. So I guess my biggest complaint is that they don't get a whole lot of attention after their story.
Sadly, they do.
So, but the world they build is actually pretty neat. But they stop world building after like the first or second season, and they just kind of go off the rails.
Yeah.
But not in like a bad way, just in a we're doing something else now.
Yeah, and actually, you know what? Once Upon a Time does get a slight from me because they tried to dabble in Arthurian legend and they fucked it up, and I hated it. That is not no King Arthur shit that you could have done. They could have done it in a more better fashion, but they had to like switch it up with Hades and all that shit.
That's not even the same mythos.
Exactly, it's Greek mythos. And don't get me started when it came to the Dark One versus Hades or whatever, because technically the god of the underworld is supposed to trump a Dark Lord. He's not the Lord of Darkness. He's just a Lord that has a potential amount of power for evil. Yet it's a freaking god over a damn dagger, and it was annoying.
Also, according to Overly Sarcastic Productions, Hades really chill.
He don't give a fuck.
Nah. There was only one time that he gave a fuck, and it was like, I'm going to go and kidnap your wife. And he's like, cool, I'm going to go and have some of my friends eat your entrails for all eternity.
You know more about this than I do, so I'm just going to agree with you.
I watched an episode of Overly Sarcastic Productions.
Cool. I've never heard of it. I should watch it. I'm curious now.
Okay, I'll go find it.
Thank you. So, I think after an hour and 20 minutes now, I think we can end this long episode of Continuum Script. You get it? Because as we continue the
Yeah.
conversation in a continued but random fashion without a script. So it's
Yeah.
I meets Continuum. Yay.
Oh man, they could just make if we for a one fan, they can continue making the joke that it's kind of like I watched all of Continuum Script. All of it? Yeah, it took a long damn time.
Yes. Awesome. So I am Jeff, and that's Ben, who's going to look
You.
for a thing for me. And this is Continuum Script, and we will see you next time. Bye.